Major update, guys. We may have finally identified the pregnant woman that was buried alive for human sacrifice in Enugu State a few days ago by the notorious billionaire native doctor Ezeani. The photograph of a young woman by the name of Joy is currently circulating, and people are claiming that she is the woman that we saw buried in the foundations of Ezeani's building. From what people are saying, this said woman is said to be from Oji River in Enugu State, and she is believed to be a mother of two. Some sources claim that she had lost her husband earlier this year in a tanker explosion in Oji River in Enugu State. But some people are also saying that she had actually lost her husband many years ago. She is also said to be a chef and a cake vendor, as well as a single mother. Now, the big question is, how did she get to Ezeagu? How did she end up in the foundations or in the septic tank of this notorious native doctor? Because the initial report was that the pregnant woman was lured there by an Okada man, by a motorcycle driver. So that was what we know, which kind of gave us the impression that she is from Ezeagu community. She's from the community there where this situation happened. However, we are learning that she's from another local government area. Oji River is entirely different from Ezeagu, a near 40 minutes journey apart anyway, so it's not that far. So how did she end up there? Who brought her there? How did they get her there? Now, we might have the answer to that question. But first, for those of you asking about our Telegram page, I'm so sorry, we lost it. Telegram took it down. I don't know why. I didn't get a notification. However, our WhatsApp channel is still available, and we might be uploading some of these images on the channel. So check our comment for the link or our bio. Now, let's get back to this woman. Who is she, and how did she end up in the septic tank of this ritual killer? Now, most sources are claiming that she was most likely lured there to come and render her cooking services. She was most likely lured there and made to believe that she was coming to work for a rich man that would fetch her money. And that could have been one way. Another words going around is that she herself was looking to join the group. She herself was looking to be part of the White Club. She herself was also looking for a native doctor of some sort to help her with her financial problems. And that could be one of the reasons why she went to see Ezeani. Because again, he does these things for people where he helps them achieve their goals. Remember, he has his own advertisement. So she could have come there with hopes to patronize him, only to end up being used as rituals. And to be honest with you, we've seen this many times. When it comes to this sort of ritual killing where the victims are actually people who come to patronize these native doctors or witch doctors, it is not a new thing. This happens more often than not. So it is believable that she may have come there to require this man's service, only to end up being used. However, that may not be the case exactly, because you see, one of the men that were captured to be the cohorts of Ezeani, the one who they say was the security man who was at the main building when the mob came, claims that he brought his girlfriend to Ezeani to use for rituals. And there is that chance that that girlfriend was the pregnant woman who people are now claiming to be this said woman, Joy Miracle. Because the description of the pregnant woman in the dungeon where she was, when you see that video or the picture, you could tell that whoever that person was had been propped up and dressed up to look like a high priestess, some kind of Ezewine sort of thing. You know, one of those, she looks a bit royal from the video that we've seen, which means that the person was dressed up and sunk into a cement that was put on the platform there. And the way this man, when he was being beaten and paraded, was describing how his girlfriend was killed, sort of matched the description of the said pregnant woman. So there is that possibility that this man brought Joy Miracle there and ended up using her. And again, multiple things can be true at the same time. Maybe she did come there with hopes to get some kind of favor with the help of the said boyfriend who claims to be this man, and she only ended up being, double crossed and used instead. Because I don't imagine her coming there by herself. So obviously somebody brought her there, and I think it's somebody she trusted, which happens to be this said man who is claiming to be her boyfriend. Another way that we know that this man knows or may have known Joy Miracle is the fact that people say from the conversation online that this man, people who recognize him, say that they know him in OG River, that he has a barbing salon in OG River, that he's doing well for himself in OG River. And again, OG River is where Joy Miracle stays. It's where people who say they know her from. Everyone who have recognized her has said, oh, I know this woman from OG River. I know this woman from OG River. So this man lives in OG River, and Joy also lives in OG River. And they both came down to Eziagu community to meet Eziani. So there is a chance that they both know each other from OG River. Now, what is not clear is their relationship, because I don't know if they were dating. On social media, online, when you go to Joy's profile, you could see a lot. You could tell and learn a lot. You could tell that she was bubbly. You could tell that she was indeed a single mother. She had pictures of her son. She even made a post that she's a mother of 2. She may have 2 sons, or 1 son and a daughter, but it's possibly 2. You could even see comments from her own dad on her pages. She celebrates her siblings too in posts there. And she shows the food that she cooks. She, even up until May 11th, she was making posts and reposting. So the last time she made a post on Facebook was on the 11th of May. So that could have been around the time she was lured to Eziago community to be used for human sacrifice. And one of the things I was looking for was her love interest. And one thing I could gather, first of all, is she may have lost her husband, but not earlier this year. I don't think it's earlier this year, as people claimed that it was, because the tanker incident in OG River or in Enugu State happened earlier this year, where people are claiming that that was where she lost her husband from. But there's a chance that that was not the case, because as far back as even December, you could see her making posts of a love interest. Even in February, Valentine, she made a post of a young man she seemed to have love interest in, or I don't know if they are an item, but it was just almost clear that she said this man is a Valentine. She talked about love. She made videos and posts with the guy's picture with love song in the background. Even on her TikTok, you could see more of that. So it kind of indicates that unless she really moved on fast from January, which again, there was no single post of her losing any loved one around that period of time. So if she ever did lose a loved one, it could, or should I say a husband or a partner or the father of her children who seemed to be older, it could have been really years ago. Her Facebook was opened in 2024 last year, if not 2023. So, and up until her very last post, nothing about her husband was mentioned. Even going forward, no pictures of remembrance, nothing of the sort. Just her clearly moving forward in life and celebrating another young man to be her love interest as earlier as February of this year. So you could tell that, yeah, her husband may have passed long ago, or she's no longer with the man, if that is a possibility. Now, the said young man being celebrated as her love interest on her social media is not this man that we see claiming to be the boyfriend who lured and brought her here. So I don't know. Another thing again to also put in mind is the said man she celebrates on her social media to be the boyfriend. There is no picture of the two of them together in one place. So she's just posting his picture and hyping him up and lovey-dovey on him. So that could be an online romance, an online love interest. Somebody she talks to online. I don't know if you understand. So that is what it's giving. And there's also that chance that she also could have had a real life boyfriend or interest in person. And it could be this man who lured and brought her here. Because at the same time, if she is pregnant, Somebody got to be the father of the pregnancy. Which, by the way, I was also looking through the profile to see if there's any indication that she was pregnant. Our last post did not really show much. In fact, one of our last videos on Facebook actually was a video from December when you look through her collection of stories. So that was a video she maybe reposted. Although there is a video of her in a black dress that kind of indicates that she might have been pregnant too. So that possibility is there. But we don't know the details surrounding that. So we don't know. There is just that possibility that this man might be right, that Joy Miracle was his girlfriend. So that is all we know regarding this. That's all we know regarding Joy Miracle. This is the situation, and it's just unfortunate. Now, just a little disclaimer. Please put in mind that people identifying the pregnant woman to be Joy Miracle is mostly online. It's mostly people who are, closer to the story. The coroner reporters, we've not gotten any words from the government. We've not gotten any words from the police. So the people who took the bodies to wherever it was taken to, the people in the who are in the right authorities to tell us that this is what it is, I haven't spoken to us publicly. So we don't know for a fact. This is just what people are saying. So there is a possibility that this might not be her, but however, a lot of people are saying, a lot of people have already drawn the possibilities. Her name is being mentioned multiple times. People have mentioned also that she had gone missing at her place of work. They hadn't seen her in a long time. And also, given the timeline of things, it could also be that the coroner reporters or the people in charge of identifying the bodies have made their findings and have passed on the information to people who are closest to the victims. And maybe that's how we now know. Maybe that's how we now know who they are, because obviously we don't expect the coroner reporters or the people at the hospital to come out with a microphone and make a big announcement. They'll most likely tell the families of these people, and who will pass it on to friends. And here we are now getting the information. That is also a possibility. But I need people to understand that the only way we know now that Joy Miracle is the infamous deceased body at Asiani's dungeon of hell is because people are saying so. That is how we know it. Now, another thing again that we need to state is that there is a chance that it's only 2 dead bodies that were found in this dungeon. There is a chance that it's only 2. Multiple sources are reporting multiple deceased bodies. We also mentioned that it could have been more than 2, 3, that there were skeletons and bones and series of dead bodies. But from what we are seeing and from what we are hearing, it could have just been 2. That they were, remember, they were on a puzzle. These ritualists, these cultist people were on a puzzle to do the ultimate sacrifice, where they get a variety of different people. Pregnant woman, who is going to be the chief priest in the underworld, and 2 servants, a young guy and a virgin, which was the 13-year-old girl they were supposed to use, who ended up uncovering all of this darkness. So they had succeeded with the pregnant woman first, I believe, before the young schoolboy Chimaobi, and they were going for the 13-year-old girl before it all came crashing down. So that 13-year-old girl would have been the virgin, and she would have been the last sacrifice. And I think that was why the other young man in this whole tragedy, in this whole commotion, said that, he was waiting for the last day of his own sacrifice. So basically, he had brought the pregnant woman while the Uchenna guy was supposed to be the one to bring the virgin. I think somebody else brought the student. It could have been that Okada man that said he wanted to leave. Remember, there was an Okada man, was it an Okada man or a Baba? Okay, the Baba is the man who brought the pregnant woman. So that one was already waiting there till the end. The Uche guy is the one who was caught kidnapping the virgin girl. So that was his own mission. So now we don't know who brought the students. So there could be like a third person who brought the student boy. And yeah, maybe that was what they were trying to do. That was what they were all trying to do. They were waiting for the last person to complete his own mission before all this came out. Wow, this is some horrifying shit. This is some horror shit, in my opinion. This is out of a horror movie. And it's just unfortunate that people's mindsets thinking that killing this variety of people would give them wealth. Why do you think you will kill this woman, this man, and this young lady, and they will make you rich? Shouldn't their spirits kind of haunt you down? Oh my God. I don't know. This is all unfortunate. So far, this is all we have. Again, more updates will emerge. If there is more bodies to identify, we would get to hear it. Eziani is most likely in the police custody in Enugu State. And so we will wait to see how that goes. Remember, he's already claiming that he was set up. And I need you guys to put something in mind, because I did not want to say this initially, but now that we're talking about it, let's just briefly talk about it. Okay, so Tunde had not posted our video on his page and it got a lot of traction. And from the comment, I was able to learn that it's in Enugu State's law to demolish houses. But my concern still remains, it was too quick, it was too soon. It's suspicious that somebody who has not been caught or who has been accused of human sacrifice and has not been caught and arrested is having his houses demolished. Whereas where the crime happened is an uncompleted building, but what they were demolishing is where he lives. So that aside, when Eziani was eventually caught, he started claiming that he was set up. And in as much as we both know that he is lying, the thing is, one thing about how the court proceedings work is based on whose story is more convincing. So if this man can cook up a story that he was set up, because let's face it, where the bodies were kept was far away from his main home, was his own property, but far away in a bush that wasn't fenced. So it is believable that somebody could have wanted to plant those bodies there to bring him down. But at the same time, we know that is a lie. However, it's a possibility, it's a story. He's able to make these guys do this crime with his hands clean. And we will see how clean his hands are when this goes to court, because I believe he will maintain his innocence and point fingers at somebody who wanted to bring him down politically. And if that story holds a little bit of water, then we might see him use the quickness of his house being demolished as an excuse too. And we just gotta see. If he gets a good lawyer, he might have a fighting chance. And I hate the fact that that is a possibility. I don't want this man to have a fighting chance. I don't want this man to make it difficult for the judge to pass his judgment. I really don't want it. I want it to be very easy. I want it to be smooth and quick. But, let's see what his argument would be. Hopefully, he doesn't use this demolishing or this swift demolishing, if I must add, as a leverage. Because if he does use it, and claim that, because what you need to understand is all he needs to do is create doubt. It's the burden of proof is in the prosecution. All Eziani and his lawyer needs to do is create the doubt, create the small possibility, like, is there a chance that somebody planted this? Is there a chance that these two people were hired to put the bodies there? If he can create that doubt, he will most likely use the demolition as a leverage. And anyway, let's see. Hopefully the crowd of people protesting would not let him get to see the justice he's chasing. He should go down. If he did this, which I believe he did, he should go down for it. There shouldn't be a fighting chance. But let's just see how it goes. Let's see how this story develops. Stay tuned, stay subscribed, stay following, because if there is any updates, we will let you know.